Hi everybody! Today is Sunday, February 1st, and it's actually Super Bowl Sunday, so that's kind of exciting. But today I'm going to be talking about emotional problems. And I know that we all have emotional problems when you have MS, because I have received so many emails where people were talking about different things, and I want to go over a couple things that I've read. Mind you, I mean, I've had MS for almost 9 years, so I've read about this from several different sources. But this information I just got off the internet. I typed in multiple sclerosis and emotions, and the website is the mcfox.com/multiple sclerosis. But you can read pretty much the same thing on any website, like the MS Society, National, MS Foundation, whatever. It's all the same. So I want to read a couple things, and then I'm going to tell you just a few things about what's happened to me lately. The first thing I wanted to quote was, it says, "Emotional problems and difficulties with multiple sclerosis are extremely common. This is unsurprising considering the impact having multiple sclerosis can have in your life." And that makes sense. I mean, it's not good news when you get the diagnosis, so it's common to cry and be upset. It also says, "Emotional problems may develop due to the disease itself and can also develop simply as a result of becoming overwhelmed by the implications of having multiple sclerosis and the outlook of the future." So not only is it something that we have no control over, but it's something that, I mean, when you have MS, you worry. You worry about, not having answers to questions. You worry about the future. You worry about your family, your children, whatever. I mean, it's not easy living with MS. Also, it says, regardless of what age you are when multiple sclerosis is diagnosed, the emotional blows afflicted are quite considerable. And it goes on, and it says other things. But I wanted to talk about this because I know this really happens to me a lot. And at first, I just would laugh about it, literally. But then I realized that that's part of MS. It says, suddenly laughing for no apparent reason, even to yourself, which is what I do all the time, or suddenly bursting into tears are usually the result of the disease activity, and tend to occur with lesion formation in the areas of the brain which are involved with emotion. So that's proof right there that, the fact that we're emotional and we cry, it's because we have lesions on our brain that affects our emotions. Like there are so many parts of your brain that control different parts of your body, and where emotions are in your brain, we have lesions there, and that causes us to cry. So, when people get frustrated, say, look, I have a lesion there. I can't help it. And also it says, this type of emotional difficulty is known as emotional lability, severe mood swings, or the pseudo-bulbar effect, uncontrollable laughing or crying. And that happens to me all the time, and I just talked about this, I think maybe in my last video, about how I laugh and I cry at the same time. Do you guys remember that? It's like, I don't know why I laugh and cry at the same time. Well, now I do. It's the lability effect. That's very common. It's part of having MS. And I wanted to quickly talk about a couple situations that happened to me recently. As you know, I am a patient advocate for Tysabri, and I give speeches and I explain how Tysabri has helped me tremendously. And I just gave a speech recently, and I worked with a speech coach. His name is Ethan Becker, and he is wonderful. I actually have his information on my website under the public speaking schedule. I have his website there. It's just ethanbecker.com. and that's ETHANBECKER.com. And I really recommend him to anybody who's looking for speech training. But he was so great, and he helped me with my speeches, and it was so funny because I worked with him, and he was, you know, giving me like positive feedback and constructive criticism, and it was great. And I really wasn't expecting to cry during my speech because I thought I might cry at the end because it gets emotional, especially, you know, when I talk about my whole situation. But I told Ethan, I said, you know, I think I might cry at the end, and he said that's okay. I mean, that makes it more personal. People, you know, will be able to understand that it really affects you. That's okay. Well, when I gave my speech, I wasn't expecting to cry because it was memorized. Like, I had the whole thing memorized. And I got up there. Now, mind you, I've been giving speeches for over a year, so I think it was just I was kind of nervous, and, you know, like, I wanted him to be proud of me, and I got up there and I cried pretty much throughout the whole entire speech. And I talked about how my emotions are out of control and that it's annoying. It's annoying for everybody. Like my family and my boyfriend and my friends, it's annoying for them too. But I can't control it. It's not my fault. I have lesions on my brain that are in control of my emotions. And so I laugh about it now. You know, I also made some jokes during my speech, but I cried a lot too. But that's me, you know, that's MS. But I also wanted to talk really briefly about American Idol. I love that show, and I actually almost tried out for it, but my voice I don't think is good enough for American Idol. But I watch it religiously, and I thought to myself when I was thinking of trying out, I said, you know, I would love it, but I don't know if I would be able to handle being on American Idol because of my MS. And I was watching it last week, and I don't know if any of you are familiar with Donny Osmond is very well known. He and his sister Marie would sing together. The whole family is very musical. Well, his brother, his older brother, has multiple sclerosis. And Donny Osmond's nephew, his brother who has MS, has a son who's like around my age. And he has MS as well. He is relapsing remitting. And he was there and he tried out. He was wonderful. He was good looking. He was sweet and kind, and he has MS, and I was so proud of him. And I thought, you know what? I said I could have tried out. Not that I'm going to, but it just made me feel really great. And he talked about being in a wheelchair and having hard times. You know, he was talking about relapses are really difficult, but I try to stay positive. My passion is singing, and I really want to be the next American Idol. And I thought that was so great. So there's hope for all of us. Despite our emotions, we can do it. So I hope this was helpful. Everyone, I mean, who writes to me, I know it's frustrating because family doesn't understand sometimes, but with MS, emotions are very common. So I hope this is helpful, and I really hope that everyone has a wonderful February. Oh my God, can you believe it? And I'll be doing another video soon. I'll talk to you later. Bye.